thanks for tuning into One Mustard Seed Soaps. I want to do a video and tell you guys a little bit about the soaps that are going to be in the next soap drop, which is going to be August 12th. And I am, for some of you that have been hanging with me, I'm rearranging my schedule and how I'm releasing the soaps. Not that there aren't soaps on the website, because there are always soaps on the website. But all the new soaps that I am releasing, I am doing once a month, and it's going to be, it wasn't last month for the first one, but it's going to be the second Monday of each month at 10 a.m. Last month was 6 p.m. But I'm switching things up and trying to make it work with, seems like my schedule, everyone's schedule. So the next soaps, there's going to be at least 6 of them in the next soap drop, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a couple of others that are more along the essential oil line that I can get ready quicker. But the ones that are coming out of cure and that are ready, some of I've posted pictures of, I wanted to kind of let you in on what is coming down the pike. And I'm also going to show you how we clean up the soap before we send it out. We don't always have time to do this, but we're trying more and more, just because I really like a more finished look. And I'm going to show you at the end of this how I do that, but and I'll show you some pictures when I get done with it. But this is the Island Escape, and it's actually a pardon my notes, it's actually an Escada type fragrance, so it's a copycat. It smells really good. The I love Escada fragrances, just by the way. The description of this one is essences of magnolia, exotic hibiscus, peach, and musk. And it's got a pretty basic swirl and just some fun colors and a little bit of piping on top. And another thing that is sort of, I don't know, changing, we'll see how it evolves, but I have a lot of different molds and a lot of different molds that I use, and depending on if I'm going to do like a flat top or if I'm going to do a pipe top. And I really would like to get a lot of them that are these designer ones coming out of just one type of mold. So I'm working towards that. With everything, you know, taking 5 to 6 weeks to cure, I kind of have to let it all meet in the middle. But when you do see the soap drop, the prices may vary depending on the weight of the soap. So just depending on the height, how it turned out, and which mold that I used and how I cut it, one may weigh a little bit more than the other. And so I'm trying to adjust the prices so that it's not flat across the board, and then do like a discount on there for if you spend so much, you get so much off kind of discount at the end, rather than doing like a 4 for this or that, just because that can get really confusing. And it does seem like there are a lot of different weights with the soaps, especially with the tops. Even in the same loaf, one can weigh different than the other, not significantly, but a little bit, depending on how much, you know, landed in the piping. So just trying to make everything a little bit more uniform. So anyway, this was the Escada one. The Island Kiss is probably what I will name it. The next one, which I love the way this turned out, and this is Sweet Pea, and I love Sweet Pea too. It's a Bath and Body Works fragrance. This is a copycat of it, and this is, I love this. I love this fragrance. I have this in air fresheners from them in my house and also in my car. So even though we're headed into fall, I do have a few fragrances, especially the copycat ones, that I feel like can be kind of universal. This one I don't know if I'm going to carry in my regular line, but look at that. Look how those kind of came out hearts. Look at that. I'm just noticing this right now, but that's, it came out really pretty. It came out pretty on the top too. So anyhow, this is the Sweet Pea that also is going to be in the drop for August. For any of you that were watching on Facebook or watched the other videos, I was doing some practicing of some piping and made some succulents, and they weren't perfect. Once I got them all on the soap, they looked fine, but I had some leftover. And so when I did, I made 2 batches, small batches of, they're like very green soaps. And one was, I think I'm going to call Garden Party. And you couldn't tell it when I videoed the cut of it, but you know, sometimes as these cure, the color changes a little bit. And I did know that if you can see how the yellow looks almost like, see how that, it almost looks like blurry almost, I guess, how that came out. So the titanium dioxide, sometimes if it heats up a lot, it causes glycerin rivers. And they didn't really river in this soap. It's very interesting how they came out. It's one of those like phenomena. You can't really make it happen. You can attempt, but it won't always turn out. Even like if you're doing an ocean soap and you want that. But it did happen in this soap, and this soap did turn a little bit tan. It was lighter when I first did it, and that's just because the fragrance oil turned it. So this is gonna be Garden Party, and this had some of the succulents, and this was just I just took a fork and made that happen. The other one, and these are a little bit shorter, again depending on the mold, but they're shorter but they're wider. So these actually weigh a lot. But this is, which one is this? Lush Succulent is the name of this one. I don't know if I'll leave it that name, maybe, but it turned out really pretty. I'm gonna video the next time I make one of these like this so you can see exactly how I'm doing that. But I was really happy with the way the top turned out. It turned out so pretty when the whole loaf was together with all these, you know, succulents, and then I just piped in between. So, and the smell of this, oh, I forgot to tell you the smells, which was part of the reason for the video. Oh my. So the smell on this, fresh green mix of cucumber, vetiver, grass, honey, bamboo, geranium, sage, patchouli, oak moss, and sandalwood. And it's like, oh, I don't know. It's just really green smelling. I don't know. I might have to make this part of my line, or at least make it again in the spring, because I love this smell myself. This one, the Garden Party, just to go back for a second, the description on that one was earthy fragrance, complex notes of sweet basil, peppermint leaf, flower buds, thyme, palm leaves, woods, amber, marigold, and violet. So these are just packed with lots of green and earthy type notes in them, and they're just really, really beautiful scents, both of those. The next one is, both of these next ones actually are soaps that are kind of restocks, that are kind of redesigns, that I get, you know, a lot of requests for these. So these are maybe going to be in the core line. We'll see how it goes. I might not make much of them over the winter, but with my spring and summer or holiday scents, I don't always attach a Bible verse on there, because and I'll just, I do. I attach the one mustard seed Bible verse on there. And any of you have seen any of the videos where I kind of talk about my story with the soap company and taking a leap of faith. That's how the company got its name. Was just, you know, I had a little faith in this idea and stepped out on it. And I have trusted the faith even through times when it's been really hard to. And I've been tempted not to, but in the end, I have just really trusted that this is the direction I'm supposed to go. Lately, God's been laying on my heart that something that I've always known and thought for the company was that this soap has more of a purpose than just being soap. I really want this company to be a mission and a place where people can come and get great soap. And also, I mean, we just all have our stuff, and we all need someone. And sometimes it's kind of even beneficial to have somebody to talk to or pray with or pray for you that isn't really involved in your situation and really doesn't have a lot of opinions about it. And I really want to be that for people that need that. Not everybody has, a strong base of family or a strong church base. And sometimes people really need that and they don't go to church or find anyone because they're alone. And it amazes me how many times I will get people come into my booth and just really need that prayer, really need to put that request in, and really just to know that someone is praying for their need, I think, really helps them. So it's been part of my mission, and that's been the Bible verses on the soap. I like it to go out there. I like for people to be able to look at it and get something out of it, something positive, and also giving it as gifts. I know I would like to receive something uplifting, even if it was on a bar soap. So anyhow, all that said, the core soaps do get a specific Bible verse, and I don't just pull them out of thin air. I usually try to figure out what I think the soap, represents in terms of emotion or smell. And then if I can come up with a word there, then I go to the Bible and pick out a verse that I think, because a lot of different emotions or even smells or just words that are biblical, they have more than one scripture that goes with them. So I'll read through and trying to come up with what I feel is the right scripture. I like things to be positive. And sometimes when you take a scripture just out of context and just write that scripture and not consider what was going on in the story in the Bible before or after that, it may seem like a positive verse, just that one line, but if you don't know the story or take the story into consideration, sometimes I don't choose those obvious choices because the story doesn't go along with what I want to go out with the soap. And I don't want to take this scripture out of context. So, all that said, there is a lot of thought and prayer that goes into naming these soaps. And that's why I don't give specific names to all of the spring, summer, and holiday ones, because I, again, am just me and I can't possibly do all of the research, and I don't want to just slap names on there. So, that's a little bit of background on how they get their names. This one is a new design. This is a soap that has been out, several batches I've made, and this is called Joy. This was a new design this time. I did a mica line in the middle, and this one it's not the right colors, but it looks like a setting sun, doesn't it? The way it's on there. If it was, different colors, it might look like that. So this is a clay mica line in there, and then I did some piping on the top, which turned out really pretty, I think, too. And this is named Joy. The Bible verse that goes with this is from Nehemiah 8:10. The joy of the Lord will be my strength. And, when I was reading through that and, knowing that I wanted to come on the video and kind of explain that, I'm not, a minister, and I do find when I'm researching these that, one person will think it means this and another person will say that it leans towards this or whatever. So, I would like you to know that maybe you look it up and see how it speaks to you. But how the joy of the Lord will be my strength speaks to me. And this is a special one for me because it's a song that I sang many, many years ago, and I have some wonderful memories of a pastor who I adored who passed away. And I just remember the day I sang that song, and I remember him. So this particular one is very special to me. But I just think that, we make our own joy, but if we know that we have the Lord beside us, really, we owe everything to him. We are nothing without him. Everything that we are and have is because of him. And there is joy in knowing that, and knowing that no matter your circumstances, and I have had some circumstances and it has been hard to find joy, but I can always know that he's there. And even in despair, I can find joy in knowing that he's not going to forsake me when any other person in my life maybe has. So I hope that you will go and read that verse and read the words that surround it and what was going on in the story, and just know that, you know, those people that were in the story were learning that they could find their inner strength because of the Lord, and what a joy that is. So anyway, that's the background on that name. And you know, come as you are and he will receive you. Definite joy in that. I mean, hallelujah. The next soap is Glorious, and this one is also a restock. It did not look like this at all last time. I changed the colors up for this, and I wanted to add these little blackberries on top. And it turned out so cute. And for whatever reason, you can just tell by even this video how differently the fragrance oils can affect the same recipe in a soap. And so this one is very smooth. I will hardly have to clean that up at all. The fragrance oil didn't turn the batter at all. It stayed nice and almost white, like creamy white. And it was a very, very easy fragrance oil to work with. So this will definitely stay in the line. For me personally, this is one of my very favorite scents that I have found since I've been making soap. And I just love this one. So the name Glorious, well, the description of this, it's black raspberry vanilla. And it's another Bath and Body Work type copycat. And it's described as ripe black raspberries mixed with dark plum and warm vanilla. And I mean, it's a nice, strong fragrance, and it just smells so good. It'll smell up your whole bathroom. But the name Glorious I gave to this just because it is just a glorious smell. It makes you happy when you smell it. And so the Bible verse that goes with this one, Psalm 66:2, sing the glory of his name, make his praise glorious. And something that I really have learned at the church where I have been attending for the last, I don't know, probably going on 5 years, is just really how much better you feel when you put your focus on God and you really praise him, and you just put everything else out of your mind and just really give him the praise that he deserves, because he's saving us. He saved us, gave his son. We should be so glorious, and we should give him glorious praise for doing that for us. And I think sometimes even, and that we have the best intentions, it's easy to take that for granted and just focus on our own lives and our own self and forget about, who gave up everything for us. So anyway, the name of this, Glorious, just give him the glory. And really, if you knew my entire life story, you would probably understand how I can stand here and be a testimony to Christ, knowing I would not be standing here today if he had not brought me through so many things. Well, I might be standing here, but I might not be sane, because I have just had a lot of things. And truth is, we all have a lot of things. Our stuff is our stuff. And no one's stuff is more hurtful than anyone else's stuff. I mean, we just all have it. It's all relative, am I saying that right, to what we're going through. And so I just find it very important to me to, especially now when I have been through some definite loss lately, to go back to my roots and really what I started this company for, outreach and, being there for people. And of course, making good soap. I can't be in business if I don't do that. But there is definitely a meaning behind the soap, the verses, and what I'm trying to accomplish with the business besides make a living for myself. So anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and definitely, like I said, I am a soap maker, but I'm not a minister. So, you know, I hope that you will open up the word and feel some joy and give some glorious praise for the word that God has given you for your life. If you haven't opened up the word, do it. There is something waiting there in those pages for you that will change your life. So anyhow, please give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I know that the content for some of you might be a little more than you bargained for, but I hope that you're still listening, and I hope that you will tune in again. And I hope that I get some positive, you know, comments back, so I know whether or not you guys want to hear, you know, some about my life story and about, you know, how to stay positive and, you know, just keep on trucking and keep on finding that joy. I wish it for all of you, and I just hope that this video has blessed you in some way. So thanks again for watching, and be blessed. All right, so just real quick, I wanted to show you guys what goes into the cleanup part of the soap. As you can tell, as I mentioned, this one, it has a shininess just on its own. But let's see. I mean, none of them are rough, but they don't have, you know, this one's closer to having that kind of sheen. This one it's not rough, but it doesn't have quite the sheen. So the, and this one for sure doesn't have the sheen. I'm a little bit sorry that I didn't put more titanium dioxide in this one, just because it did turn tan. Yet, had I might have gotten more of these rivers. I don't know that I would have wanted any more. So I don't know. We'll have to see about that fragrance. It's a little bit finicky, and I don't know if I'll want to work with that again. This one definitely I will, though, because this is nice. I just want to shine that up a little bit. Another thing I feel like makes a difference is whether or not I put the oats in. Even though the oats are very, very fine, I can show you them. You can see when I put these colloidal oats in, they are a very fine powder. But sometimes they do, even though I blend them in with the milks and all of that and disperse them so that, you know, they're nice and smooth. Sometimes I do feel like there's bumps on the soap, maybe a little bit. And I mean, come on, it's soap. It's got good stuff in it. So I don't get too caught up in it. But anyhow, so what happens is if you want to make your corners a little bit nicer, you just take, and there's different, actually, like, I think they call it a planer or something like that you can do this with. But this is just your regular old potato peeler. And most of the time I don't do the bottom, maybe a teeny bit, because I want them to still sit flat. This is still on the video. So that makes kind of a rounded, more finished, and it just fits real nice in your hand. And then to shine it up, well, I'll do that part next. Let me get these corners done for these so you can see just the difference it makes. And then I have, of course, I have tubs full of it, and one day I'll make a soap that, you know, puts all that back in and has a fun inside to it. I have recently given this job to my mom. So before she's packaging, she's doing this little bit of shaving for me as well. Oops. It's very therapeutic to do this, though. I can tell you, if you have hundreds of bars of soap and you can just sit there and do this, which really isn't how it usually works, because usually I'm bringing the soaps down and out of the room where I cure them and giving them to my parents to package, and she's usually doing this, you know, as she's packaging. But I feel like I could just sit and do this. That is a big bar of soap, guys. I don't know what it weighs, but it's a big bar of soap. That should be interesting. Let's weigh them. This is unplanned, but let's just do it, because this video is not long enough. right. All right, so let's just see. Oh, I don't know where my scale is. Then you just take a, and it's easier if you put on two to hold it. Just kind of shine it up. Can you see the shine? Probably not, but I can. It's just smoothing it out. That's really all. And then you just put the packaging on. And it definitely has a sheen that it did not have before. So you can see that there is still some cleanup work even after the cut. This one really doesn't even need it. It's pretty shiny on its own. This one either. I don't know if this is coming out on the video, if you can really see the difference with the lighting. I feel like maybe that can show you the difference. This side is kind of matte. No, this side has a sheen now that I've done that. And it definitely just feels smoother. So this is probably going to be something that we start trying to do to all of our bars, just to give them a little bit more of a polished, you know, look as I'm getting into more and more stores. I just want to make sure that the soaps are, you know, very professional looking. And they are still homemade. My mom says it all the time. They're homemade. And of course they're homemade, so they're not going to be perfect. And that's the beauty of getting something homemade. But I still do want them to have a polished look to them. I think for this one, it made a huge difference in the way that looked. You know, just the sheen on it. So anyways, that is the cleanup part, guys. So I will see you on the next video. Thank you again for watching.